Spencer, lights please. Folks, if I can have all of your attention. Thank you so much. Not a person in class got number 1 right.
Yeah.
Not a single person. And there were lots of 80s. Now some people, or maybe 1 or 2 people got it right, but by and large, nobody got it right because nobody put 6. And let me go through this. I think the reason you didn't put 6 is because you use your calculator. Hello, my name is
John
and
Cena.
I am a calculaholic. All right, sometimes you have to think a little bit more than press buttons. You see, going to what's over here on the problem, I think what you see is, I think most kids here want to divide by 1/3. And the unfortunate part of that is you could do it. It's not wrong. And if you took your calculator and on your calculator you typed in 2 divided by 1/3, it's going to tell you 6. But you can't leave it 2 divided by 1/3. It is not simplified. If I said to you right now, everybody in the room, reduce the fraction 4/8. What's 4/8 reduced? 1/2. But doesn't it also equal 2/4? Now, if you were to put 2/4 on the test, would you be right? No. The answer is 1/2. 2/4 is partially complete. It's not fully complete. Likewise, 2 over 1/3 is partially done. It's not fully done. But I think that this is symptomatic of a better way to look at the problem. Spencer, look here. Everybody look here. Very, very, very important. Isn't multiplying by 1/3 the same exact thing as dividing by 3? Right? What's 12 times 1/3? 4. What's 12 divided by 3? 4. So multiplying by 1/3 or dividing by 3 is the same exact thing. So I would personally think, like if I'm solving this equation, I don't divide by 1/3. I don't like dividing by fractions. I find it much more difficult than just multiplying. So since this says 1/3 here, I'm going to realize that a proper interpretation is that I am dividing by 3. So what is the opposite of to divide by 3? So I'm going to multiply by 3, die, die. What's 2 times 3?
6.
So now I get 6k equals mv squared. Divide by m. That part people were very good at. And then the last thing I have to do is square root it. And the square root of v squared is just v. So v equals, I've run out of room, so I'll just write it like that. The square root of 6k over m. Okay? Now, we've been through this before. The whole point of a quiz is to reveal to you where there's a weakness in your game. I get a kick out of certain sports teams. They go have a scrimmage. They scrimmage Saxton, they scrimmage Oregon, and they feel that they won, and they come back all excited saying they won a scrimmage. Now, I laugh because I personally like to lose scrimmages. Yes. The guy who loves to win, who's had, I think, 14 undefeated seasons here in 28 or 9 years of coaching, loves to lose scrimmages. Why? Because I want to learn what we need to get better at. I don't want some false sense of being good. I want every wart revealed to me. And then I can get to work on those warts. Likewise, when you take a quiz, you want the warts revealed. You want to know where your thinking is stinking. In number 1, your thinking was stinking. If you did divide by 3 and left it 2 over 1/3. So at least now we have that straightened out and we understand that it's square root of 6k over m. Next one, I also saw some stinking thinking. And the blue work I predicted in my head, I said, they're going to screw this up. I did not predict the work on number 2. Some of you, again, did partial work. Solve 4x, most important words there. You need to get x all by itself. So the first step is to minus the b, which you guys were great at. There was no problems there. Equals mx. Then you divide it by m, and many of you divided only one of them by m. The whole thing is divided by m. Now you can leave the answer like that, or you can break it apart. But you need to understand something. The m has to go to both of them. If you break it apart, it has to look like that. And many of you just put y over m minus b. And you did not put the b over m. Now, I know it might be a little bit of a blow to your ego, and you might feel bad if you got a poor grade, but it is completely irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant is from this point forward. And what you need to do is you need to ask yourself, what did I not get? What did I not understand? And then you need to go home tonight with laser-like focus and say to yourself, how do I straighten this out? Where do I correct those kinds of mistakes? And there were lots of kids who messed up numbers 1 and 2. Number 1, tons of you messed up, almost everybody, if not everybody. Number 2, way too many for me to be comfortable. So as far as I'm concerned, like a scrimmage, this revealed warts. Now we start getting into questions that we did a whole lot better with. Number 3, find the product, multiply coefficients, -20, add exponents, x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. So we looked good there. I don't think we had much of a problem. Just about everybody got that one right. The first question that we really excelled at. Now, solve the following systems. And over here I wrote 3, 2, and then I also wrote the word free, because it was possible to me that you might have missed the 2 in front of the x. So if you had done every step properly and treated it as if it only said 1x, then I would have given you credit. But I didn't see anybody really fall into that. The big thing I want you to notice here is that every single, the 4 y's match up. But what I saw some people do, this is very important, what I saw some people do with those 4 y's was add. And what they did was this. They added, and they said 5x, and then they wrote equals 31 or something like that. No, you can't add, because if you add the x's, yes, you get 5x. But if you add the y's, you get 8 y's. So you haven't done yourself any good. Okay, great. 5x plus 8y is 31. You haven't solved anything. You haven't done anything. What you need to do is realize that, hold it. What you need to do is realize that you need to subtract these two. And the way we do that is we multiply everything by a negative, and then we add them up. So that gives me 3x minus 2x is 1x. That adds up to 0, and 17 minus 14 is 3. So x is equal to 3. Or you could just subtract them. 3x minus 2x is 1x, nothing, and 3. And then put them back in either equation. I'll do the top. 3x plus 4y is 17. Plugging into 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4y is 17. I'm going to do a little work in my head here. Subtract the 9, you get 8 divided by 4, you get 2. Okay? And then, what are the slope and the y-intercept above? Bless you. Adding 3x to both sides, I get 4y equals 3x plus 12, dividing by 4. I'm wondering if some of you have a sense of humor.
I do.
Yes. If some of you are sadistic.
What's that?
If some of you want me to lose even more hair. Perhaps make it a little more platinum. The slope is not 3/4 x.
Yeah, don't have the x.
How many times have we said the slope never includes the x? It's the number in front of the x. Now, this being an honors class, I know you're totally capable of getting that, right?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. So now I'm left with an alternate theory on why some of you put x. I have to say to myself, well, you knew you got number 1 wrong. And now you said, how can I get him mad? How can I possibly make him pull out more hair? How can I annoy that old wicked math teacher of mine? And you said, I know, put a little x, because he's gonna get pissed. So you put the little x there. All along you know you shouldn't do it, but you said, I gotta take tomorrow's quiz anyway. So who cares? So you put the x there.
Yeah.
No x! No x for you!
Oh gosh.
Do x for you.
The soup Nazi?
The soup Nazi. Yes, from Seinfeld, for those of you who know. The slope is the number in front of the x, it's 3/4, and the y-intercept at the end is 3.
You should join math league.
Any questions?
I mean, you should join math league if you know that.
There you go, that's it. I do it in front of kids from the other schools and they look at me like I'm absolutely insane. All right. Next up, last night's homework. Take a peek. Got about 2 or 3 minutes to go over this.
Dude, no, you're not supposed Mr. Olympus?
Yes.
Okay, now, I messed up the
Excuse me
part.
1 second. Hey, I appreciate the desire to speak to those around you, but I just peeked at the clock and I think the quiz was a little long, so we are in a situation where we need to get some work done, and you're socializing way too much. So I need you to just look at this question and see, are you doing it right or are you doing it wrong? Spencer?
I messed up the part with the sign, but like after that, I managed to justify my answer to like the second part of the question, like find it.
Did you check it?
It's not in the solution set, and I checked it, and it was like by the way that I did it, it was correct.
You
But
would
I
get full
partial
credit for your
check.
justification.
But
You
half
would
credit.
lose, if this was worth 10 points and you shaded the wrong side, you'd probably lose 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
All right, but the key is tomorrow, shade the right side. Remember, everybody, if you multiply or divide an inequality by a negative, you must switch the inequality. Yes?
So, I forgot while I was doing homework, what do you do? So, how do you know to shade above and below?
Greater above, less below.
So greater than y is above?
The symbol. Once you get it into y equals form, just look at the symbol. That's a greater than symbol.
Yeah.
So therefore, you shade above.
Oh, okay.
If it was a
'Cause
less
I don't
than
look
symbol,
at
you
that,
shade
but
above.
yeah, I look at it if it's greater than y. If
It's not about greater than or equal to y or whatever. You get y on the left, like typical y equals mx plus b.
Yeah.
And then you just look at the symbol. If it's greater above, less below. Okay, and remember broken line. Okay, next up. I tend to think we did well on this one.
You need, I forgot.
Any questions on? Yeah, if you forget to do the check, you lose 3. Any questions?
I checked it in my head.
Checking in your head is not good enough.
I did the whole thing.
Next up, yesterday's factoring. And this is where I would like to kind of lead into today's lesson. Take a look at the answers there. I didn't do all of them, but I did just about all of them. Take a look, see if there's any discrepancies. If you're able to get these right, then you understand what we talked about yesterday. Did I do something wrong?
On number 5, is that a 3 in front of the A?
Oh my
Oh, so you go to the AJ school to visit a staple?
Beat it.
They share a 3 in common, so it's
Oh.
3A times 3A plus 1.
Yeah,
Okay?
you got 3.
There is a reason I type everything.
What? Whenever you want to, just
Oh, I was
kidding.
looking there.
Never mind.
Okay.
I know what I did.
Any other questions?
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
For number 5, I got A times 9A.
And here's the deal. You did a great job of pulling out a common factor, but you didn't pull out the greatest common factor. You did the equivalent of 4/8 is 2/4. You gotta keep going. You gotta, whenever you do one like number 5, you have to look for both the greatest number and the greatest letter, or the highest amount of A's. You did a great job with the A's, but don't forget the numbers.
Okay.
Okay? Any other questions? All right, and here's a little bit more. This question number 13 is important for today's lesson. It's important you remember how to double distribute. Okay?
Oh,
Yeah? Sounded like there was something to follow up with. Oh!
Oh, I didn't do that.
I did
I
something
just
completely.
Oh, you did not do 3x squared and then 5 squared. Because to square it means to multiply the entire thing by itself. It does not mean square the first term, square the
I'm
second
talking
term.
about 18.
Oh, okay, Janelle?
Do you, for number 14, is that a 1 or is that a plus sign?
Oh, that would be a minus 17y.
Oh, okay.
Right, because this is minus 12y and that's minus 5y, so it's minus 17y.
And then
Lipstick, oh, hold on, lipstick.
Sorry, what? Okay, for 15, what's the answer?
3 n to the third, m to the 7th.
Yay!
Okay,
Oh, I got
Janelle.
it.
For number 13, I distributed the square, and I got like
You don't distribute the squared.
You don't?
No, you interpret the squared properly, which means to say something squared means times itself. So I have to do 3x minus 5 times itself.
Oh,
Okay, all right, now, let me get to today's lesson. All right, so, we're a little bit pressed for time. Is there any question from number 1? We're good, right? We added 4b and subtracted 8a divided by -4. Next one, greatest common factor, Carissa, here's where we want to do the number and the letter. They each share a 3 in common and an x. So I'm left with x minus 7. Always distribute back with a quick mental check. Remember, factoring is anti.
Distributing.
Good. 3x times x is?
3x squared.
3x squared. 3x times -7 is -21x. Any problem there?
No.
All right, next one says to write the coordinates of a point that is not in the solution set of either. The only area that's not in the solution set of either is this open area with no shading. So you need to choose a point from over there. Okay? All right, next up. Slope and y-intercept we did before. Okay, so the length of the quiz caused us a little problem there. Can everybody do number 5, please? Quickly.
Done.
Okay, so we do a little double distributing here. We may even be approaching the time when we can do this in our heads. No, if not, you'll be there very soon, so it's not worth giggling over. Distribute the x, distribute the 4. X times x is x squared, x times 3 is 3x, 4 times 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 3 is 12.
So you did
And then I combine the like terms, and I get x squared plus 7x plus 12. And I want you to notice something. I want you to notice what we began with, which was namely x and x. And out of it, I got x squared. I think that's pretty obvious. But I also want you to notice 2 other things. I want you to notice that we had a 4 and a 3, and 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay? Furthermore, 4 times 3 is 12. That's what I want you to notice. So far, that's what I said, you can do this very quickly in your head over time. So far, what we've tried to do is in double distributing, we have double distributed a binomial times a binomial, and we've created a trinomial. That is double distribute. But we're now beginning our study of factoring, which is not distribute, but rather it is anti-distribute. So starting today, I give you the x squared plus 7x plus 12. You have to give me the x plus 4 times the x plus 3. And the key to unlocking these trinomials is right here. I hope you're all looking. You always add up to the middle term, and you multiply to the last term. That's the key to understanding how to factor. And to be honest with you, your work is going to begin with the factors, the factors of 12, what multiplies out to 12. So, let's give you some tries here. Now, what I would like to do, for this first one, it says factor each of the following. So look, I know it's going to be x and x in the beginning. Tell me some ways to multiply out to 20. All the possible ways. God bless. Yes? 4 times 5. Are there other ways?
1 times 20.
1 times 20. So let's write them all out. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3, no, 4 times 5. And when the list going up intersects the list going down, that's all the factors. Now, which of these adds, remember, we call this the AM method. Which of these, that's the way to multiply out to 20, adds to 9? Everybody?
4 and 5.
4 and 5. So the correct answer is x plus 4 times x plus 5.
You're blowing my mind.
Now, you'll remember yesterday, I said to you that factoring is anti-distribute. And the key to factoring, like writer's block, is to just do it, the Nike expression. And then to do a quick mental check. Now, if you had to write this out every time, it would drive you crazy. But I just said to you, we should be getting to the point where we can do this in our heads. So check it out, ready? X times X is X squared. I'm gonna do X times 5, which is what? 5X's, then 4 times X is 4X's. What's 4X's plus 5X's? 9X, and then 4 times 5 is 20. So therefore, I did it in my head, and I confirmed that the factoring of X squared plus 9X plus 20 is X plus 4 times X plus 5. And I used the AM technique to do that. Now, the only little hitchy part of this is, some people will say, well, A comes before M, and the 9 comes first, so let me think of how I should add up to 9. No. Do the multiply part first, because there's a lot less ways to multiply. So that limits the number of possible ways. Then you look and see which of those adds. Trying with the same set of numbers, because again, you're multiplying out to 20. What are the factors of X squared plus 12X plus 20? Okay, so as I take a look at that list, which pair of numbers do I tend to think is going to be the right pair of numbers? Eh?
2 and 10.
Good, so let's try it. I'm not sure I'm right, but after my quick mental check, I should be sure I'm right. What's X times X? X squared. What's X times 2? 2X. 10 times X. What's 2X's plus 10X's? I'm feeling good, feeling the love here. 10 times 2 is 20, so we're looking good. Okay, now, the only difference with number 10 is you're not multiplying out to a positive at the end, you're multiplying out to a negative 18. When you multiply out to a negative, what do you know about the possible signs, everybody? One's negative and one's positive. So talk to me about ways to make 18. Spencer?
-2 and 9.
-2, +9, but doesn't that also mean it could be +2 and -9?
Yes, it does.
Okay, what's another combination that gets me 18? Sorry?
-3 and 6.
-3 and 6, and that then spawns 3 and -6. And then, of course, there's -1 and 18,
I was just about to
and
say
then
that.
1 and -18. Which of these combinations, when you get to the add part, can give you -7? Lipstick.
2 and 9, or -2 and 9, or 2 and
Well, only one of them. Which
2
one?
and 3.
Right, 2 and -9, because that adds to -7. So the correct factorings are n minus 9 times n plus 2. The order's not important. You could have n plus 2 and n minus 9. Now, we always, I can't emphasize that word enough, always do a quick mental check. What's n times n? N squared. What's n times 2? 2n. What's -9 times n? -9. And what's -9n's plus 2n's? -7n's. And what's -9 times 2? -18. So I know I got it right. Try the next one. In fact, try the next two, numbers 11 and 12. And you don't need to fret. We are going to do this for several days. So I don't expect you to be perfect at this at the end of one day. I think you should be beginning to get good. Biggest thing you can get out of today, AM. You have to multiply to that last term. That's where you start considering the possibilities, and you add to the middle term. Okay, I have the answers up for the last two. Once you take a peek, see if you got it right. Questions? All right. Hasta la vista. Adios. Toodaloo. Ta-ta. Arrivederci. Smile a lot. Ciao. Arrivederci. Adios, amigos y amigas. Cheerio. Karusharus. Kadafis. Shalom. Enjoy your day. We are going
Can I have on site, 205, please? Can I have on site, 205?